Good afternoon, Blue Devil fans, and welcome to the 9th edition of the 2013 Central Connecticut Softball Show. I'm Tommy Mead, here with head coach Jeff Franquet. Coach, since we last spoke, you only played once, a doubleheader against FDU on Sunday. You swept the Knights. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Certainly, it was a great day for us to get back on track and get on that winning streak a little bit. And coming off of the weekend before in conference with Mount St. Mary's and Monmouth, certainly wanted to stay on track and keep us in that hunt. And we talked about that lucky 13 to get us in the tournament. I feel pretty good that we're in it. There's not an asterisk next to our name yet, but there will be after this weekend, and things will settle in. We played very well. Again, Laura gave up one run, and that essentially was a lack of focus with 2 outs in an inning. I mean, she really seriously could have shut them out both games, and she threw well. As I've said all along, when she pitches well, and we had some timely hitting, we came out on the good end of the stick. A couple kids were swinging the bats fairly decent, and the top part of our lineup is doing well. It was nice to see Eileen come around with a couple hits, at the bottom lineup. And I know we've joked around about this before. I put Steph in as a pinch hitter. She hits another home run. And then the second game, I started Stephanie, and I took her out, and I just felt like Brittany was going to get on for us. And sure enough, she gets a base hit. We ended up not scoring her, but the instincts are still there, and the momentum's still there, and our energy was fantastic on Sunday in the dugout, on the field, and we talk about that all the time, about just being consistent and not having those lulls up and down throughout the games. But I was real proud of our effort. It's great to stay on track. We got obviously a big weekend coming up this weekend, and we'll practice today and practice tomorrow and play Thursday against Rhode Island and have a good practice Friday, and we'll certainly be ready by this weekend.
Coach, you mentioned Laura's dominance this weekend. She passed another milestone. Why don't you talk about her performance in the 2 games?
She was lights out. Going by, I don't know every pitch that Bree called, but typically when I say to Bree, what was that pitch supposed to be, I have a pretty good feeling that she probably missed the pitch, which was maybe a handful of times through the whole doubleheader. She threw well. You could tell she was confident. You could tell that when Laura's on, Laura's on. And the good thing about her is she throws hard enough and her ball moves enough that even when she does miss her pitches, it still turns out to be a fairly good pitch because it looks like it's a strike out of her hand. And that's to me, to be successful at pitching, you want pitches to look like they're strikes out of your hand, because you only have like hundredths of a second to make a decision on whether you're going to swing or not. So if that hundredth of a second the ball looks good, you're swinging. And where baseball, you have a little bit more time to see it, and you can see the rotation on the ball. It's very difficult to see the rotation and spin on the ball. It's you either know it's up, down, in, or out, essentially, is what you have. So she's very effective. She did a great job, and we certainly the expectations are extremely high on her for the rest of the year, because essentially the ball is going to be in her hand the rest of the year, every inning. Bree has done an unbelievable job with her. They have a great connection and a great relationship, and obviously it's working very well. As I've said before, I don't go anywhere near the pitching and the catching. That's why Bree's here, and she's done a fabulous job with Laura, and if you ask Laura, I'm sure Laura would tell you the same. So it's important to have that relationship. I haven't called one pitch. I've made some suggestions here and there if I see batters or something like that, but I just believe in, if you're going to hire a pitching coach, then the pitching coach should do that job. And as the old saying goes, you're only as good as the horses around you. So Laura's pretty darn good, and our record's pretty darn good, and we're in pretty good shape going down to the final stretch. So we're looking forward to this weekend. We're certainly looking forward to Laura stepping up to the challenge. She's looking forward to it. I know it was in our team huddle on Sunday. I think Laura was the last one to say something about being ready for this weekend. So I'm sure that she'll be ready to get after it.
Now, Coach, Thursday doubleheader against URI, non-conference, and then Saturday the big doubleheader with Robert Morris, who's currently in first place. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you expect to see from the Colonials?
Well, I mean, obviously we got 6 games this week, and we want to win all of them. Thursday, Laura will throw game 1, and then it'll be pitching by committee game 2. And then we're going to go after Robert Morris and Quinnipiac. We have to take care of Robert Morris before we can play on Sunday. And you know, as that old saying goes, it seems like it comes down to every year where your fate, you have your own fate in your own hands. So if we can take care of business against Robert Morris and then do what we have to do against Quinnipiac, then Robert Morris still has 6 more games to play after us. You know, just hope that luck's on our side and good things happen. So, but as we said all along, we got to take care of the first game and not worry about the second game. They have the best pitcher in the league returning from last year, and she certainly hasn't had an awful year. I think her ERA is below 2, and you know, she's pitched a lot of innings for them and has a lot of strikeouts. And on record, you would think it's going to be a 2-1 game, because if you look, a lot of the games that she's pitched, they've either won or lost 2-1 or 3-2, or they've had a couple 7-1 games, whatever. But she's not giving up a lot of runs. Laura obviously is not giving up a lot of runs in conference. So on paper, you know, it should be one of those 1-0, 2-1 games. But I've seen a lot of pitching duels end up turning into an 8-7 slugfest. And if it turns into a slugfest, I like our odds a lot, because we can hit. But you know, you can't ask for a better last weekend of conference play to have the fate in your own hands, play the team that's a game ahead of you in the conference. So we'll be ready to go, and then we can't look past Quinnipiac, because they're right there climbing in to potentially get that number 4 spot, and they got a couple players on that team that can hit. So we got to get through Saturday first, and then Sunday is certainly Sunday's a challenge too, because it's always difficult to play at Quinnipiac. It's just a difficult place to play. But hopefully we get a lot of fans, we get a lot of support on Saturday, and we certainly hope to see everybody out there, because the more energetic that place is, it's going to be good for good softball and be a good atmosphere to watch. So you better get out there.
Central Connecticut softball team will play 6 games this week, 2 on Thursday against URI beginning at 3 o'clock, 2 on Saturday against Robert Morris beginning at 1 o'clock, and 2 on Sunday at Quinnipiac. Coach, good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Tommy. Go Blue Devils.